Today I got a few tips for you if you're having to install small mosaics on the floor. Let's start. Tip number 1. This comes from even before you start installing any of the mosaics. You're gonna have to prep your floor flat. No mistakes. It has to be super flat. The difference between mosaics and large format tile is that large format tile, if your floor is not 100% flat, you can always build it up with thin set, up to it has limitations, but you can, there's an 1/8 of an inch low spot. You can use a little bit more thin set to gain that 1/8 of an inch. With mosaics, you cannot do that unless you want to make a mess and you want all the thin set to ooze through the grout joints and then just pretty much make a big mess for when you're ready for grouting. The next tip is, what trowel or what size trowel do you use? Well, for my mosaics that are 1/4 inch or less, I use an 1/8 by 1/8 or an 1/8 by 1/8 V-notch. Square or V-notch, but 1/8 by 1/8 trowel. This will give you enough thin set under the mosaics, but not too much that it'll come through the joints and then it'll be a pain in the ass to clean. You might say, well, this looks like it's not a lot of thin set. How will it stick? Well, you see me on the video, I'm tapping down the mosaics with my grout float. I usually get the largest float that I own to tap them down, and that way you're making sure it's bonding to the thin set. Now, how do you get started, right? And this goes for any floor, not just mosaics. I'm going to show you how to square up your room and how to get started. So we have this bathroom, right? It's this big square. Then we have a toilet area and we have our shower. Tiles actually flowing into the shower. What I did first is, you see this line? I measured just an arbitrary number. Now, outside walls are usually the straightest because framers actually frame those in first according to plan. So based on that wall continues through here. So that's the same wall all the way through. I measured 5 feet here, make sure clear this wall, and then 5 feet here, and then I snapped this chalk line, right? Then I checked. I think we're off an 1/8 of an inch here, 1/4 of an inch here. Of course, walls are never straight. But for the most part, it's pretty good. And then now I started measuring this way. I measured here and here. I got the same measurement. I measured to the toe kick, same measurement. I measured from here all the way to here, and I think there's like an 1/8 of an inch difference. And of course, I couldn't measure here because that wall is actually in an angle. But that tells me that if I go off of this line, I'm gonna be square with the room. Now, that's not my starting line. That's just an arbitrary line to make sure I can follow some type of square line, right? So that's my main line. I'm sure it has a name, but that's my main line. Okay. Then what I did is I laid out a bunch of tile in this room, right? I measured the bathroom and then I measured here. That told me that if I want to end with the full piece here, I needed to start with the 6-inch cut in the back. So I went ahead and ripped with my hand cutter 6 inches. And then the full piece, I didn't want to just lay the little pieces because they could be crooked. So I added a full piece and I chopped this line. Now, this line is in reference to this guy. So even though I measured from here to here, since this is my line, my main line, I can't measure from the door to here. So whatever measurement I had from here to the 6 inches, I transferred from here to the 6 inches. And I'm going to transfer that into here. Now, this is gonna go across, and then I'm gonna snap another line right now with another, probably a couple rows, and then just keep going across. Then I'm gonna go into the bathroom. Probably, I may do a whole row or not, and then try to finish that, dry fit it, then work my way up to somewhere here, then turn around and then work myself out of the room.